Anh.
And I'm Bảo Nhi, and we're the student of Thái High School. As the fact that internet plays an important role in our modern life, it's hard to imagine a world without the internet. But it's interesting to know what our life would look like without the internet, right? Back to the past, although you can't even imagine it, that time existed. These are ancient times when everything was rural, kind of like the 90s. People were all disconnected from each other as if they were living in isolation, and they were only used for nondescript tasks such as writing and working. Thankfully, a few years later, everything changed. The internet came into our lives, cities grew, water irrigation watered our fields, and the world was filled with light and color. But what would it be to live without the internet? Would you dare to live in such a terrible scenario? Let's have a look at this terrible scenario.
Firstly, life without internet will greatly affect our country economy, especially trade between countries. This affects not only our country's economy, but national global economy. This have many consequences. The development of country will be affected because many people make money on internet. It's their job. PewDiePie, a streamer, YouTube's highest earner at $8 million a month. Or the Kardashian, they make about $1 million per sponsored post on Instagram. So, in a world without internet, these people will be jobless. This can also make life inconvenient. For example, when you want to buy a dress for prom, you can't just sit at home and use your phone to buy it, because you don't have internet. Instead, you have to go out on the street to do your shopping. And just imagine how long does it take for you to get ready to go outside. And on top of that, you need to look at maps to get there because you don't have internet. You don't have Google Maps or GPS.
One eternity later.
Secondly, we'll be much worse informed and have backward education in a life without internet. Today, Google saves our lives several times, but imagine if it didn't exist. You'd probably try to take your own life instantly. Luckily, you couldn't do it because without Google, you wouldn't know how to do it. In the past few months, we're going through a pandemic caused by the coronavirus. Most schools are closed and students are kept in quarantine for months, and because of that, students need to study online, but they can't. School's plan for students will be delayed, upset student life due to the fact that we don't have the internet.
Nowadays, people keep themselves entertained by many different ways. Some watch videos like mukbang, makeup tutorial on YouTube, others listen to music and upload their covers on SoundCloud. But if we live in a world without internet, no YouTube, no SoundCloud, and that life is pretty much sad. But on the bright side, people can come up with healthier ways to amuse themselves, like reading books, going for a walk.
To cut the long story short, the internet is undoubtedly an absolute must-have nowadays. It has changed our lives to the point of turning the previous era into a fuzzy and terrible historical period. Luckily, all that was left behind and happiness entered our lives for good. And that was our speech about what our life would be without the internet. Thank you for listening.